bestselling period. This one might have stayed at the bottom of the empty bottle with the rest if it hadn't been for the article I read that night. Less than 500 words on a site without a stellar reputation for journalistic integrity. I personally hold that article responsible for the email I sent my boss, a woman whose approval I have been desperately chasing for nearly a decade, at 12:14 in the morning. In said email, I promised I could fix everything. My column, my disastrous love life, the relationship with my mother I was starting to fear I'd outgrown. I wish I hadn't included all of that in the email, but more than that, I wish Esme hadn't agreed. Hadn't let me charge a Greyhound ticket to my company card and sent me off on a no other expenses paid odyssey to the absolute middle of nowhere. "You have 2 weeks," she'd written. "This is your last chance, Sammy." Like I said, it's been a ride. I step off the Greyhound in Ridley Falls with a kink in my neck and a storm cloud over my head. The guy next to me on the way here from Seattle was a talker. And not just the polite conversation type, but the "here's the tortured story of my failed marriage, do you have any advice" type. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time I've spent a bus ride with someone's tragic life story. I attract oversharers like a front man attracts girls with daddy issues. I used to think it was what made me a good journalist, this ability to draw deeply personal information out of the most reluctant stone. But I'm not even sure I'm a journalist anymore. I'm not sure of much of anything, really. Which, of course, is why I'm here. In a town deep in the boonies of Washington state where I spent what could be defined as the most normal year of my childhood. The place I always picture when someone says the word hometown, even though I didn't live here long enough to claim it. I imagined I could sense the shift the moment the bus passed the sign. There's something about Ridley Falls. Like maybe this was the very moment my life would start to change for the better. But it's been 20 minutes since then. I'm surrounded by shuffling, zombie-like Greyhound ticket holders in the closet-sized station. I try to remember the feeling of watching that sign pass. The feeling that there's something big at stake here. But it's hard not to focus on the negative. And boy, is there a lot of that. Starting with the general approach to sanitation in this building. My phone buzzes in my back pocket, and I lean my massive leopard print suitcase against my thigh, shifting aside the matching duffel and backpack to retrieve it. I wish, for the millionth time, I was the kind of person who traveled in sweats or leggings, something more comfortable than the tight, expensive jeans and satin bomber jacket I chose for myself this morning. I can hear my mom's voice in my head, chastising me for even daring to think it. "How do you know you won't be seated next to a movie star, huh? You know, I met Denzel once on a flight to Vegas." Even though I'm currently very annoyed with her, there's something about advice your mom gives you, especially when she's not really the advice-giving type. So here I am, actually dressed, even though there's literally no chance a movie star would have taken a Greyhound bus from Seattle to Ridley Falls. I know this because I sort of already know the most famous person who would ever set foot here. I shudder again, thinking of my oversharing email to Esme. But I shake it off as I extract my phone at last. There will be plenty of time for self-loathing when I'm in a place that doesn't look like it could give me tetanus. As my phone rings, the caller's contact photo takes up the whole screen. Willa's face, squished next to mine on a wine-tasting trip to the Willamette Valley before her wedding, cheeks flushed and eyes a little squinty. Simpler times. "Please tell me you're here somewhere," I answer without preamble. I'm afraid the guy from the bus is going to follow me to the bathroom for more free therapy. "Boundaries, babe," she says breezily. "And seriously, you need to read that article I sent you about the capsule wardrobe. Your luggage is large enough to replace Pluto as the smallest planet." "Pluto isn't even technically," I begin, then trail off, looking around frantically. The line goes dead, and I finally spot Willa in the flesh, all gawky.